Hi students, greetings of the day. I hope you guys are all doing good, and I also hope that you guys are giving the best in the examinations which are currently going on. So now why we are coming before you through this video in between the examinations. So let me make it very clear the agenda why we are going to do this video. Why? Because we received a lot of queries from the students regarding they need some proper guidance on how to utilize the time which is available in between the exams. So we are doing this video completely with that intention to provide the guidance to the students how they can effectively utilize the time available between the exams so that they can reap the maximum benefits out of it. So before actually starting this video, let me thank our academic director Prakash sir. So he has given a lot of inputs for the preparation of this strategy for the day before examination. Without his inputs, this strategy preparation documentation would not have been this much effective. So having said that, let us directly proceed ahead. So in this video, as I have told you, I will guide you how to revise auditing and assurance subject on the day before your exam. So if whenever you are going to give your final examination of auditing and assurance, whatever time that is available for you in between the exams, so how to utilize that time effectively, especially I am going to tell you how to revise the auditing and assurance subjects on that day before the examination. So just spend 15 minutes of your valuable time in watching this video, in going through this video, so that we will make you ready so that you can effectively utilize your time of whatever is available, so that you can give your examination in a much better, you can present your exam in a much better manner. So with that intention, we are going to do this video. Please make a note of whatever things we are going to say through this video. So assume that you will be having 25 hours of time available for revising the subject auditing and assurance after you have given your paper 5. This time I am telling, after taking care of your personal needs, after taking care of your personal requirements, so after getting enough of rest, you will be having this much amount of time available. So now we should be planning this time how to effectively utilize it. And please make one thing very sure, very much sure about it. So you should be utilizing this time not for learning new concepts. This time should be completely utilized only for the revision of the topics which we have already done. Okay, so whatever chapters we have completed preparation, that we need to revise. We should not be spending any time on learning the new concepts, particularly during this time available. Now, so having said that, what should be our plan of action? What should be our some basic steps which we need to take care of? So first, follow the sequence which I am going to tell you now. First, prepare the following areas. What are they? See, the fast track material has already been provided for you. If the fast track material has been provided, then first go through the fast track material. Why? Because that will help us to do a quick revision of the entire subject in a less amount of time. So first, if fast track material is available, please go through that fast track material which helps you in a very quick revision. Then go through the RTP of that attempt which you are going to write the exam. For example, if you are going to write for December 21 attempt, go through the RTP which has been released for the December 21 attempt. Once we are done with that, then go through MTPs of the attempt for which you are going to the exam, for which you are going to give the examination. For that attempt, whatever MTPs are released, go through that MTPs also. And finally, the most important thing is guess questions. Guess questions are very, very important. We have taken a lot of effort in preparing our guess questions. It's not just we have given the questions whatever comes to our mind. We have done a very much research, very much analysis of the past few attempts, and after that we have seen this lot of probabilities. We have analyzed lot of probabilities, and then we have given this guess questions which has high chance of coming in the examination. So even you might go through our past guest questions and exam question papers. Even we have done analysis also. Every attempt we are getting sizable amount of marks from these guest questions. So please don't ignore these guest questions. This should be our top priority. Why? Because these guest questions are given by us after doing a lot of research. So we have done a lot of scientific research, that is, we have did an analysis of the past few years attempts, and then we have given this guess questions. So please don't ignore it. Please complete the guess questions first. Now let us come to order of preparation. So we have so many chapters as a part of our syllabus. Now, which chapter should be covered first, which chapter should be covered later? So now I am going to give you some instructions regarding the priority of the preparation. First thing, in each and every chapter, we have divided the concepts into three categories. First priority, second priority, and third priority. First priority concepts are those kind of concepts which have a very high chance of getting tested in the examination. So this should be your top priority area. First, you should be concentrating on first priority items in all the chapters. So once we are done with the first priority items, then we have to go to second priority items, which are also having a good chance for getting tested in the examination. So first, our priority should be to complete first priority items in all the chapters. Once we are done with that, complete second priority topics in all the chapters. Once we are also done with that, then go to the third priority items in all the chapters. So this should be our order of preparation. Now, and even let us come to each and every chapter, which are first priority, second priority, and third priority. Here we have given the sequence for the chapters. Please follow this sequence only. Don't go by the order of our material. Please go by the order which I am telling you here. So like if you could see, first company audit, then nature, objective, and scope of audit. So like that, I have given the sequence of the chapters here. Please go through that sequence only. Don't go through the sequence of the material. So if you observe in the material, the first chapter will be nature, objective, and scope of audit. So that should not be your top priority. Please follow the priority or sequence which I am giving you here. So like if you could see here, we have identified each chapter. In each of the chapter, what are the first priority areas, what are the second priority areas, what are the third priority areas. Along with that, in each and every table, we have also given the time which you should be spending on this particular chapter. Please stick to this time. Follow the sequence which you are able to see in these tables. First, complete first priority chapters of all, first priority concepts of all these chapters. Once we are done with that, then proceed with the second priority concepts of all the chapters. Then if you are also done with that, then go to the third priority concepts in all the chapters. So let me list out chapter by chapter. What are the first priority? What are the second priority? What are the third priority? The chapter which we should be starting our revision with, that should be company audit chapter. And in this company audit chapter also, the first priority areas are qualifications and disqualifications of auditors. Who is eligible, who is not eligible, that qualifications and disqualifications. Along with that, auditors appointment related procedures, audit committee and selection, how to fill the casual vacancy in the case of a government and non-government company, the concept of rotation of auditors, internal audit related concept along with the cost audit related questions, Essay 299 regarding joint audit of the financial statements, and also rights and duties of the auditor. These should be our top priority. First, we should be concentrating on this. So then, second priority, the concepts of the company audit which will come under second priority are the concepts like removal of auditor, what is the process for resignation of the auditor, and also fraud reporting under 143 subsection 12. These will come under second priority. And whatever is not covered in first and second priority, all those remaining concepts will come under third priority. Once we are done with the company audit, the next priority should be nature, objective, and scope of audit. In that, the first priority concepts are inherent limitations of audit, principal aspects which are required to be covered, concepts regarding engagement letter and its contents, what the auditor is supposed to do when the client is approaching you and asking for changes in the terms of engagement, what are the threats to independence, ethical requirements, and professional skepticism. These should be our top priority areas. Then in the second priority, what will come? Essay 220 related questions like leadership responsibility and also engagement performance. Like that, we have a few questions regarding essay 220. So those essay 220 questions should be your second priority, along with the types of audit like statutory, non-statutory, along with the qualities of the auditor. These are second priority. Rest of all the concepts will come under third priority. So once we are done with company audit, nature, objective, and scope of audit, the third chapter should be audit reporting. In that, the first priority areas are in essay 700, qualitative aspects related part, contents of the auditor's report. Along with that, what content should be specifically mentioned in the opinion paragraph, what content should be specifically mentioned in the basis for opinion paragraph. So these two paragraphs also your top priority. After that, essay 701, complete standard. The standard is actually very small in size. Essay 701 should be completely covered, high chances of getting tested in the examination. Once we are done with SA 701, SA 705, this also a complete standard, different kinds of modified opinion along with the meaning of pervasive effect. Then our priority should be SA 706, this also complete standard, emphasis and other matter, and Caro related reporting requirements. These should be our top priority. Once we are done with that, second priority should be 143 subsection 1 and 143 subsection 3 reporting requirements, and whatever not covered in these two, all this will come under third priority. Then proceed ahead with audit documentation and evidence chapter. In that, top priority areas are what are the types of audit procedures, what are the factors that affect sufficiency of audit evidence, what are various audit techniques, what is the meaning of audit documentation and purpose, what are the factors that affect form, content and extent of documentation, along with that audit completion memorandum. These should be top priority. Once we are done with it, principles which are helpful for deciding reliability of audit evidence, the question regarding audit notebook along with assertions, these are second priority. Rest of all the concepts will come under third priority. Then next priority should be standards on auditing chapter. In the standards on auditing also, the top priority standard should be SA 500 series. In the SA 500 series also 501, 505, 580, 510. These four standards are very frequently tested in the examination. These four should be your first priority. Then second priority should be SA 560, SA 570. Whatever other standards are there other than this, like SA 550, SA 710, SA 250, these will come under third priority. So once we are done with standards on audit, the next priority should be fraud and responsibilities of auditor. In that, top priority concept should be who is responsible for detection of frauds, what is management responsibility, what is auditor's responsibility. Then what are the reasons because of which fraudulent financial reporting is committed, along with a question relating to defalcation of cash. This should be our first priority. Then what are the various ways of committing misappropriation of assets and fraud risk factors along with the examples. These are second priority. Rest of all the concepts are third priority. When it comes to audit sampling, so the top priority area should be what are the various approaches to sampling, like statistical versus non-statistical. What are the various methods of sampling, like simple random sampling, stratified, value-weighted selection, block sampling, haphazard sampling, these various methods. Along with that, there will be a question relating to factors that affect the sample size. That should be your top priority. Along with that, projection of misstatement, like this a question will be there in the self-study. These are first priority. After this, the second priority should be factors that affect the extent of sampling plan, along with two questions, so what is sampling risk and non-sampling risk and how it is going to impact the audit. So these should be second priority. Rest of all the concepts are the third priority. Now comes analytical procedures. In the analytical procedures also, first priority should be meaning of analytical procedures, techniques of analytical procedures, and also factors which affects the reliability of results of analytical procedures. Once we are done with first priority, in the second priority, there will be a question regarding substantive analytical procedures and also what are the timing of performing analytical procedures. These are second priority. Rest of them all are remaining third priority. Next, we have to start with audit in an automated environment. In this top priority, first priority are what is the meaning of automated environment and what are the features of automated environment. Then why IT will be relevant for the audit and a question regarding data analytics. These are first priority. Then in the second priority, what are the risks which are arising from the use of IT along with understanding of the IT environment. So rest of all the questions will come under remaining concepts. A note here, these four chapters, fraud and responsibilities of auditor, audit sampling, analytical procedures, and audit in an automated environment. These are very small chapters, contain a limited number of concepts, but there will be a compulsory question from these four chapters. So don't leave these four chapters at all. What are those four chapters? Fraud and responsibilities of auditor, audit sampling, analytical procedures, audit in an automated environment. So once we are done, then proceed ahead with audit of banks. In that first priority, special NPA norms. So like special items, we have accounts regularized near balance sheet date, erosion in the value of security. Regarding these special items, what should be NPA norms? How to conduct audit of a drawing power? What are the various modes of creation of security like mortgage, pledge, hypothecation, etc.? What should be discussed in the engagement team discussions? How to conduct audit of advances of a bank? And what are the reporting requirements by the auditor of a bank? So once we are done with that, next we have audit of incomes, how to conduct audit of various incomes of a bank and how to conduct audit of expenses. Rest of all the concepts will come under third priority. Then we have the next two chapters, audit of items of financial statements, audit of various entities. These two chapters in the recent examinations, they are getting a lot of attention. Somewhere close to 12 to 16 marks are getting tested from this both chapters put together. And these two chapters are of such a nature where you should not be concentrating on by-hearting the content. We should be quickly giving a glance at all the questions in this chapter, in these two chapters. Why? Because very much important chapters, but these two chapters are not suitable for by-hearting. You should not spend excess amount of time in these two chapters. We should be giving a quick glance of the questions which are there in these chapters. So don't spend much of a time in these two chapters. At the same time, don't unnecessarily waste a lot of time on these two chapters also. So in these two chapters also, I have listed out top priority, first priority, that is how to verify employee benefit expenses, how to verify goods sent on consignment, how to verify other expenses, how to verify advertisement expenses, reserves and surpluses, fixed assets, trade receivables, borrowings. These are top priority, first priority. Remaining all will come under second. Here there is no third priority concept. Next one. In the audit of items of financial statements also, how to conduct audit of local body, NGO, hospital, education institution and hotel. These are first priority, rest of them all are second priority. Here also there are no such a third priority question. So once you are done with these two chapters, then we have to proceed ahead with the chapter audit strategy, planning and program. In this also, the first priority should be assistance. What assistance will be provided by audit strategy to the auditor? What and all you need to understand about entity and its environment? What are the factors that affect extent of direction, supervision and review? What is audit program? What are its elements? Along with this determination of materiality related two questions. Then second priority will be how come planning is a continuous process and what are the factors which need to be considered by the auditor in developing overall audit strategy. Remaining all are third priority. Once we are done with it, then proceed at the end, at the close to the examination, that means close to the exam time, you should revise this chapter risk assessment and internal control. So in this also, top priority should be audit risk and its components, or what are risk assessment procedures in light of SA 315, what are internal controls and its objectives, what methods are available for evaluation, inherent limitations of internal controls along with internal financial controls. Then second priority, why understanding an entity is a continuous and dynamic process, what factors will affect in deciding which controls are relevant, which controls are not relevant, along with that test of controls. Remaining all are third priority. Then take up government audit and cooperative societies audit. These two are not that important chapters, keep them at the end. In the government audit also, the top priority should be how to conduct audit of government expenditure, what do you mean by proprietary audit, what do you mean by performance audit, and what are the powers of C&AG in case of government company. Then second priority, what are the powers of C&AG, how to conduct audit of revenue, audit of stores and inventories. Rest of all are remaining third priority. In the cooperative societies audit, what are the special features in conducting societies audit, what do you mean by special audit by central government, and inspection and inquiry by central register. These are first priority. And the second priority, one question I have given, schedules to audit report. Rest of all of the questions are third priority. So these are the list of chapters, guys. We need to follow this sequence, and these are first priority, second priority and third priority. And at the end, I would like to make one more, I would like to draw your attention to one more point. It is sufficient if you attempt for 80 to 85 marks in your examination. Okay, so there is no such requirement that you need to attempt for 100% of the marks. It is not required. Always focus on attempting for 80 to 85 marks, that too with perfection. That alone is enough. In excess of this 80 to 85 marks, whatever you are writing excess of this 85 marks, consider that as a choice only. So our criteria, our intention should be to attempt for 80 to 85 marks. That is more than enough. In case if you are not able to attempt for 100 marks, no need to be worried about it. Don't come in tense and spoil your next examination. More than enough if you attempt for 80 to 85 marks. This one note I wanted to make it here. So having said this, I would like to conclude this video. Thanks for your valuable time. I hope that this video has benefited you a lot, and we hope that this video will act as enough of guidance for you to plan your time appropriately in between the examination. All the very best, guys. Do the best in your examinations. I wish you a success in all your exams. Bye.